Hey, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to talk about some great movies, pretty much 30 great movies, my pick of the best films of 2018. These are some of the movies I thought were some of the best. None of these were just thrown on this list randomly. These were all movies that I selected. These are movies that I thought were excellent. Any movie that I thought was forgettable or it was okay didn't make it on this list. So yeah, let's get started. Now my first pick for number 30 is The Wife, starring Glenn Close. Can we please give her a nomination for this performance? Like, for real. If there was ever a movie where she stole the show, it was definitely this one. In this movie, she plays a wife of a very well-respected author who just found out that he's about to win the Nobel Prize for Literature. Now, you would think that she should be excited about this, but this whole situation is starting to make her question things that she's done in her past. It's starting to bring about revelations about the past. As a matter of fact, as the movie goes along, you see flashbacks of her when she was younger, of her and her husband, and also of a time when women were a lot more suppressed. Yeah, things have changed now, but at the end of the day, a lot of the things that we've done in the past do affect the future and do affect the present, and this movie tackles that very well.
Don't ever think that you can get their attention. The men who write the reviews, who run the publishing houses, who edit the magazines.
A writer has to write.
A writer has to be read, honey.
You see how women just back in the day were not respected in the literature world, whereas men were held high above, and that starts to frustrate her. She starts to think about a lot of things that have happened in the past. Glenn Close is amazing in this movie. She is incredibly witty, incredibly elegant. A great movie that just really empowers women, I think, and just shows the suppression that women have had to deal with throughout the years.
I can't do it anymore, Joe. I can't do it. I can't take it. I can't take the humiliation of holding your coat and arranging your pills and picking the crumbs out of your beard and being shoved aside with all the other wives to talk about some goddamn shopping trip while you say to all the gathering sycophants that your wife doesn't write.
Tyro was an interesting and fun little movie to watch.
Yo, bitch, sit the fuck down, man. Back down.
This movie is very straightforward. It's pretty much a glimpse into the black experience, pretty much, which is actually one of the reasons why I liked it. It is a fun movie. It's directed by up-and-coming Sebastian Silva, which I think is a great director. He's only done a couple movies, I think, and his last movie, Crystal Fairy and the Magical Cactus, was an incredible movie, and that's actually the movie that made me respect Michael Cera as an actor, because to be quite honest, I don't like him. He's always been an actor that's puzzled me as to why he has the career he has. He's not a good actor at all, in my opinion, but at the end of the day, it all depends on what a director does with that actor, and Sebastian Silva is definitely a director who knows how to work with Michael Cera very well. He knows how to use him well.
Tyler, never trust the white man, all right? You understand? They will let you fucking die in the wilderness. You hear me?
Loud and clear.
It's like one of their buddies' birthday parties, so he brings his black friend along. Thing is you start to realize is that he's the only black guy, and that might not be a big deal or anything, but because of that, there's a lot of
black accent. What does that even mean?
You know what I mean? Come on.
You
You
wrote
have to be
this?
more specific than that. Are you kidding?
All right. My bad. Like old black lady from like New Orleans or something. You know?
No.
No. What do you mean no? It's a thing.
I don't know.
It's a valid accent.
I'm done, sorry.
and it really creates some really tense, uncomfortable, and also oftentimes funny situations, which is the reason why I wanted to put this movie on my list. It's great. It just couldn't go a lot higher because of the fact that it really just doesn't go anywhere. It's supposed to be just an experience. Next up is Isle of Dogs. Now I know a lot of you guys are wondering, why isn't this movie a lot higher on my list? I wanted to put this movie a lot higher on my list. You got to understand that I am a huge fan of Wes Anderson. He's one of my favorite directors. I think he's one of the best directors alive right now and one of the most visionary directors of our time, period. The thing is I'm going to be honest with you, this is one of his weakest movies. The animation is gorgeous, but I can't help but compare this movie to Fantastic Mr. Fox, which he also made. Fantastic Mr. Fox is one of the few movies that I've given a perfect score to. I love that movie, and the animation in this movie stands up to that one for sure. But the story I found really not that great. I found it kind of cold, kind of cruel at times. Wes Anderson's always had this thing about being cruel to animals in his movie. I don't know, I guess he thinks it's funny. I don't think it's really funny. But I didn't find this movie that interesting story-wise, and on top of that, out of all his movies, this movie has some of the most uninteresting characters that he's ever put in a movie. Like, and this is a shame to say, considering that some of these dogs were voiced by some great actors. This movie overall was okay. It was fun to watch, but I thought there was a lot better movies this year.
Don't make me wait!
You Will Never Really Hear showcases Joaquin Phoenix at his best. He is really, really good in this movie. This movie's a pretty tense, dark thriller, that's for damn sure. This movie goes into some pretty dark territory. Revenge, punishment, and even child trafficking. He was in the military, and he has a lot of PTSD. He gets hired by the mayor to find his daughter, who he believes has been taken by some child trafficking people, and he pretty much goes on like a rampage to get her back. I was hoping this movie would be willing to expose like a big crime ring or something, and to an extent it kind of does, but when you think it's gonna go further, it stops. And it reminded me exactly what this movie is about. It's not about exposing some kind of conspiracy. It's not about that. The movie's about the main character and what he goes through. So when he feels he's done what he needed to do, Hot Summer Nights. Now, this is probably the most divisive movie on this list. This is a movie if I was even considering putting on this list. The thing is this movie isn't exactly very great. Now, the story is kind of a mess, to be quite honest. It's all over the place, and it really doesn't know where it wants to go. But the movie makes up for that with its style, its cinematography, its awesome music, and its awesome lead by Timothy C., which I'm a huge fan of this kid. I definitely think this kid is going places. Yeah, the movie follows his character around during the summer in the 90s. He's pretty much coming up in his town by selling drugs, and he pretty much moves up the drug chain real quick. This movie is very blatantly derivative. You could tell this movie took influences from Goodfellas, Boogie Nights, Pulp Fiction, etc. You could just tell that this director watched those movies 100 times and was trying to do something that was like that, which is not bad. This director needs to focus on storytelling a little more. He's got the style for it, he's got the vision for it, but I think he needs to focus more on trying to tell a cohesive story, and if he had done that with this movie could have been a hell of a lot better. Either way, I still think it's a fun watch, it's worth it. Check it out.
I think you turned out nicely, and I like you as you are. And children need to hear that. I don't think that anybody can grow unless he really is accepted exactly as he is.
Won't You Be My Neighbor will put a huge smile on your face. Now, I absolutely love Mr. Rogers, and the reason why this movie is actually not higher on my list is because this movie didn't teach me anything about Mr. Rogers that I didn't already know. You know what I mean? I know a lot about Mr. Rogers. Most of the clips in this movie I've already seen. Most of the interviews in this movie I've already seen. There are a few rare clips from his shows that were put in this movie that I didn't see, and that was really, really nice to see those. As a matter of fact, there's even a scene in this movie that really triggered me.
Sometimes I wonder if I'm a mistake. I'm not like anyone else I know.
I think you are just fine as you are. I really must tell you I do.
Lady Evelyn is saying to Daniel what Fred himself wanted to say, not only to his childhood self, but to all children.
You're not a fake. You're no mistake.
I don't want to talk about it, but it got me a little emotional. I even had to stop the movie at one point and kind of take like a little 5-minute break. This movie also does a great job of not only showing you Mr. Rogers' accomplishments, but also showing you a more insecure side of him, a more questionable side of him, the side of him that was concerned about the world and where the world was going. You know, it didn't always show Mr. Rogers at his finest, and that's what I liked about this documentary. Either way, if you're somebody who doesn't know too much about Mr. Rogers other than just his show, I highly recommend you watch this movie, because this movie is a ray of sunshine in a dark, dark world.
Please just say I care about. No man had ever told me that he loved me like that. I needed to hear it all my life. My dad never told me. My stepfather never told me. So, from then on, he became my surrogate father.
I'm so proud of you, Francois.
Oh, thank you, Fred.
I will warn you, though, it gets pretty graphic.
Assassination Nation is a fun, wild, crazy, oftentimes even brutal, sexy, sometimes even fucking crazy fucking movie. That's all I gotta say about that. Stylish, I guess you could say. It's very stylized. At the end of the day, I feel like this movie tries to just be a little too trendy at times. It tackles a lot of things that are popular nowadays, which is not a bad thing or anything like that. It's just, I felt a little out of touch with it at times. But at the end of the day, I like the message it was trying to get across.
That's the real sickness here, your righteousness and hypocrisy. It's the simple fact that you can't live by the rules you set, yet you still pretend. This is your world. You built this. If it's too strict, tear it the fuck down. But don't look at me. Don't take your hate out on me. I just got here.
Everyone in the town gets hacked, so everyone's secrets come out. The movie follows around like a group of teenage girls in a high school. They're very promiscuous. They kind of keep it under wraps with what they're doing online, but that all gets exposed, along with a lot of other people's dirty laundry, including the principal of the school, the mayor of the town, and as you could imagine, shit gets crazy.
Nigga shit, nigga shit, nigga shit, nigga shit, nigga shit, nigga shit. Nigga shit, nigga shit, nigga shit, nigga shit, nigga shit, nigga shit, nigga shit.
Man, what a movie with balls is all I gotta say. Yo, I gotta give much respect to the director, Boots Riley. He's a badass, man. I have a lot of respect for that guy. He comes out of Oakland, California, and I think this is his first time doing a movie. The cast is great, and the story is just ballsy and badass.
Come on, you know what I mean, young blood. You have a white voice in there. You can use it. I'm not talking about Will Smith's wife. That ain't white, that's just proper. I'm talking about the real deal. It's like, sounding like you don't have a care. Got your bills paid. You're happy about your future. You've never been fired. They're only laid off. It's what they wish they sounded like. So it's like what they think they're supposed to sound like. Like this young blood.
Hey, Mr. Kramer. This is Langston from Regal View. I didn't catch you at the wrong time, did I?
This is a movie I recommend you don't approach thinking that in any way, shape, or form is grounded in reality. It's not. It's very satirical. It's very weird and odd. So just approach it with an open mind. It's just really, really interesting to see that unfold with no rules or regulations involved as far as what is real and what isn't. This movie gets wild. This is an ambitious film. I would have loved to have bring it a little further up my list, but there's just too many damn good movies this year. Halloween. Now let me start off by saying that I love horror movies. Horror is one of my favorite genres, but the slasher subgenre is actually one of my least favorites. And how can you blame me? Most of the time slasher movies follow around the killer, and it pretty much just follows him around murdering people one by one by one. Usually people, they might be bimbo-y, they might be stupid, but they're innocent people. So it's pretty much watching a killer just kill innocent people for an hour and a half. Usually that's not my cup of tea. So I'm very picky with slasher movies. Now, the Halloween series is a series that I do like. I like the original, and the second one wasn't bad. So I was kind of excited for this one, especially since this one was kind of going to omit all the other movies and just pretty much take over right after the first Halloween movie. This is an absolutely great slasher movie. It was so fun to watch. It did a great job of paying homage to the original movie, and Michael Myers is just badass in this movie overall. The cast is great, the scares are great, there's some great funny moments, there's some scary parts. Overall, this was just a fun movie to watch, and I absolutely enjoyed it. It was creepy at times, and honestly, for a slasher movie, now I gotta throw mad respect to Bo Burnham, which is the guy who directed this movie, because he actually started out doing YouTube videos and doing silly videos online, comedy, music, songs, and things like that. And I guess he decided to tackle film, and damn, he released a great movie. Now, this movie was higher on my list, but after watching a few of the movies this year again, I kind of had to rearrange my order, and this movie did get pushed back a little bit. This movie is excellent. Elsie Fisher, the main actress in the movie, she's definitely going places. She is incredible in this movie.
By the way, I like your shirt a lot. It's like so cool. And I have a shirt too.
I've seen interviews with her, and she's actually pretty cool in person, but in this movie, she plays an awkward little girl, and the director does such a good job of projecting that awkwardness onto you. You feel every awkward moment of her going through her final week of 8th grade, and it's just kind of cringy to watch at times, but at the same time, kind of awesome to watch because we can all relate to it. This movie does a great job of portraying what it's like to be an 8th grader. You know, there's cursing in this movie, so this movie definitely doesn't shy away from what kids talk like, how kids talk nowadays.
She's seeing dicks in 5th grade. She's like wired differently.
She's not wired different.
I'm not saying it's like a bad thing. I'm just making her
Stop. Let's stop this. Let's stop this now.
Jesus Christ, fine.
And when I was in 8th grade, we didn't have smartphones. So to see smartphone culture being implemented and how it affects kids and how they take social media so seriously was kind of funny and kind of sad at the same time. But either way, this was a great movie, very well acted. It's a great coming of age movie. I enjoyed it.
Hey, I wrote you that letter thanking you for inviting me to your birthday party, and you didn't write back or anything. I didn't even get a DM on like Instagram or whatever.
Now, those were my top 30 through 21 for my pick of the best films of 2018. Stick around, I'll be dropping my top 20 and then eventually my top 10, hopefully by the end of the week. If you like what you saw, give this video a like and hit that subscribe button. This is Mr. Black signing off.